Can we get some story time? You're getting a little bit of that tonight. Tonight, I actually have a topic that I wanted to talk about that I'm very interested in. This clip surfaced on Twitter today. Normally, I don't get involved in drama or any of the bullshit, but watch this.
I'm glad you beat Mango, dude. I'm glad you have your Mango win. Because without your Mango win, SFAT, you'd be jack shit right now. What would you be? 9th place at Summit. Can't even beat Johnny. He hasn't even played in 8 months. You'd be nothing, SFAT. You'd be a fucking jabroni-ass bitch. I'm happy you can sit on that win. I really am. I really, really, really am. Enjoy. Enjoy. I got you in 6 months when you need another one, big guy. Don't worry about it. Because I know I'm going to be okay. I got you, big guy. Don't worry about it.
So I don't have any captions, but in case you couldn't tell what happened, he's shit-talking SFAT here. SFAT is another top, I don't know, top 20, top 10, something. He's a very good Melee player. SFAT just beat Mango a little bit ago for the first time basically ever. And Mango seems pretty sore about it. And this clip started circulating, got 4,800 likes, of him just saying, all right, well, you beat me, I suck. You could beat me again in 6 months, and it'll be a big deal to you. So he's kind of shitting on himself here, but really he's saying, you know, this is the only time it's going to happen, and you're not going to beat anybody else. So kind of mean, right? But I have my own feelings about this, and we'll talk about that in a second. So I actually wanted to see what the response was. And so if you go over to SFAT's Twitter, he says, how come instead of rising people up for their wins, we bring them down for losses? Mango, you always talk about how much hate you get, but where do you think that originates from? It always comes from the top. Johnny played sick, and I got nothing but respect for him. Talking about the fact that he lost to S2J, right? So SFAT is signal boosting this. He's pushing this up. He's letting people see it. And SFAT is saying, why are you shit-talking me, dude? I just beat you. Why can't you just be happy for me finally beating you? You're putting this out there in front of your thousands of people. Why does this have to be a big deal? And he even said that here. Okay, I'll let you shit-talk me after you beat me for the first time in 5 years and not say anything. Gotcha. Did you not get your jab back at me in front of your 256K Twitter followers? You don't hear me bring that shit up anymore, and yet here you are. I know I'm reading tweets here, and this is not the channel that I'm trying to be, but stay with me for a little bit, okay? Because I think this actually meets at a very interesting point in the whole esports professional gaming culture, right? I tweeted, on the one hand, it's clear how this could hurt someone's perceived value in the grand marketplace of esporting ideas and encourage droves of impressionable fans to be in on the fun by being as annoying as possible. On the other hand, Mango is funny as hell. Because both can be true, right? Obviously, Mango talking shit on his stream is something he's allowed to do. He could just talk about whatever and whoever he wants, but there is this facet that, like, when you have a huge audience, you know that they're gonna jump on anything that you say. So I think that this comes at a really weird part in where Melee and really Smash in general has been growing, because you can't really just do stuff like this anymore. At least that's what SFAT is saying. This clip is probably gonna get SFAT a lot of shit talk, a lot of, I don't want to say hate, because it's not really hate, it's people ribbing, but it's not as fun when people are doing it over and over to you. Mango subs coming into your chat, or joking with you in tweets about, you know, the time that you barely beat him, but you still got 9th, or whatever the fuck. It just becomes exhausting. But at the same time, people gotta be able to talk their shit. It's kind of important to the scene. Otherwise, we're just going to be in this weird spot where everybody's, like, fake talking and there's no real competition or passion or fire. So, Noah Future said, it's funny that his grapes are sour as hell in that clip, but not really in a laughing along with him kind of way. And I said, yeah, but in my opinion, the best trash talk has a hint of betterness. Otherwise, it's just, haha, lol, you got me this time, but next time, I'm gonna destroy you. By the way, I really respect you. You're a great player, and we had a great set, and I really love everything that you did. But next time, I'm gonna kick your butt, mister. But listen, I love playing you. All the stuff that you've done for the scene is immeasurable, how much you've contributed to the game that we play. It's just, you know, Kev said, I wish trash talk like this was in the ultimate scene. It's been a part of competition forever and elevates the stakes entertainment. But I get that not everybody can dish, let alone take it. But, like, for Ultimate in particular, the players are so much younger. And, like, they're less sure of themselves. They want to look good for teams for your future. Let's say you're the average Ultimate player, right? Let's say that you're, I don't know, 18 to 21. And you see people that you don't really like. You have a problem with the way they play the game. You're mad at them for beating you, whatever. Are you really going to start shit with them as an 18 to 24-year-old in a blooming industry when you know that the shit that you say now could come back in 8 or 9 years and bite you in the ass, you'll get in trouble. And sometimes teams won't pick you up if you do that kind of thing, or at least that's what you think. That's not always true. If you just shut up and keep your head down and don't make content and try to play the game, you're probably not going to go anywhere. But there's also, like, you can't force people to do this. A lot of Ultimate players are just nice. You just can't force somebody to talk or be a shit talker or be a part of a salty suite or whatever else, so...
Sports benefit from a heel to drive storylines and make things more fun.
Well...
As long as the talk doesn't descend to Xbox Live COD lobbies, I think it's good to have villains, rivalries, and emotions.
I mean, I feel that way too, but we're also living in a time of insane fandoms, and fandoms that are going to track everything that a player does. And when that happens, you run into this thing where Mango has such an immense amount of followers that even if 1% of the people that he's streaming to or he says that to are harassing SFAT and, like, making fun of him or, like, saying the same shit Mango does because they want to be in on it, it gets exhausting. And SFAT is not paid like a professional athlete, right? You shouldn't be expected to handle that and just hold it and take it. I think that you need a balance on this, obviously. I come from the world where I love shit like this. I think the more we can let players let their personality shine, the better. But I do understand what SFAT is saying here, and it does create this weird spot where, like, you kind of have to pick one or the other. I feel like you can't be in the middle. The fact that we're having this convo in the first place means the shit talk was good. The other problem is this dies if SFAT does not retweet it. Without this SFAT tweet, it's just dead. I feel like nobody talks about it anymore. Mango will continue to bring it up if it seems prudent. But if SFAT just kind of lies low and is just like, okay, whatever, just takes it, I feel like it doesn't get to be a big deal. I did see people saying that Mango is, like, up his own ass, and Mango is insufferable, and he's a shithead, and blah, blah, blah. I feel like you're not getting the point of Mango, right? That's kind of like the kayfabe. He's the GOAT. He's the character. He's playing into this whole thing. That's the Mango. That's literally the point. And you could be frustrated by it and be annoyed by it because you think the character is going too over the top. But then you get into the question of, like, at what level is all of this real? How much do you lean into the kayfabe before it becomes your entire personality? How shitty can you be before there's a level of backlash? There are a lot of parallels between pro wrestling and fighting games. Whenever I see stuff like this, I always think of this one moment. Back in the day, there was a wrestler known as The Rock. The Rock, whose real name is Dwayne Johnson, used to cut promos, okay? And these promos, or promotions, were things where you would just come out, say you're gonna beat up the other guy, they're not gonna make it out of the thing alive, and you're gonna beat them at SummerSlam. One night, he did this to someone named Billy Gunn, who was a mid-carder at the time. He was like an okay guy. He wasn't crazy. And The Rock had a few choice words for him.
Said I absolutely suck.
This promo keeps going, but this promo is credited with killing Billy Gunn's career. This promo in particular is infamous because Billy Gunn never recovered from this. You have to understand, Billy Gunn won the King of the Ring tournament, which was this big prestigious thing, right? He won a big tournament featuring all the top stars. And Rock said, I don't give a shit. You still fucking suck. Now, in this circumstance, obviously, this is different because wrestling is all about image. But at what point, like, do we have to worry about the fact that a top player could talk some shit and ruin somebody's image in the eyes of the public? Luckily, Melee is not scripted. Fighting games are not scripted. So the answer, as always, is just win. And thank God for that. There's always just keep winning at the game and be better at it. Thank God that's the case. But there are times where it feels like we're not realizing just how much of a spread these guys have. I think the one of the things, too, is the level of investment that you have in this kind of thing. Is this really a big deal? I think there are people on the internet that take this shit and take it way too far and care too much about it. But at the end of the day, it's fucking competitive Melee, right? It's a subsection of a community. Please watch this clip of Punk. Hold on. Which one is it?
You to go like, comment, subscribe, and turn the post notification bell on, and let's get into these matches. Let me take this fella money.
Y'all niggas are stupid. Y'all made me lose money. Y'all fucking suck. That's why France washed y'all. And that's a fact. Y'all will never be as good as I am in Street Fighter and y'all main game. You niggas are garbage. Suck my dick.
I love the intro of it. Hey, guys, remember to like, follow, and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get right into the video. Oh, dude. You lost me money is the best part of that. Actually, we should have talked about that. The Punk thing, bro. With the steak. So, Punk, in that last clip, he was playing a match against someone from France, if I'm not mistaken. And he was a little bit too overzealous, saying that he was going to beat him, and he doesn't even play DBFZ. He was going to clap him up and beat his ass, right? Oh, it was a commentator? Oh, wow. Okay, so not even a player. So we lost to a commentator. So that's even more embarrassing, right? Losing to a talker instead of a player? Good lord, what a mess. So he lost to him pretty bad, and he got mad at his chat for giving him the wrong info. But then, a little bit later, he beat him, and he booked a reservation at a steakhouse with his name.
We just arrived at the steakhouse and got our food, and we just wanted to just pretty much make an appreciation post and thank you for the good eats that you provided today.
This is like a $500 money match, I think.
How you doing, Swag?
That's killing me.
Okay. What
That's
you got
killing
here?
me.
I got the filet mignon, you know.
What you got, Sean?
I got the filet mignon too.
Oh, and we
That's
got
some tiny
we got
steaks.
some mac and cheese,
Which means
and-
this place was
and this
expensive.
mashed potatoes. I got this New York strip. So you know, acoustics. Remember to check the link in my Twitter bio and book you a session, bro.
Punk is amazing at talking shit. I don't know. I think this is an interesting topic because it actually comes and meets at this intersection of what fighting games used to be and what they are and where they're going. And I actually have somebody to discuss this with me. Joining me now to make more sense of this whole thing is someone with a lot of Melee pedigree, a lot of background that can hopefully fill in some of the context. I'm joined by Golden Guardians Toph. Toph, my friend, how are you doing?
Pedigree, dude. That's me.
That's you.
Can't spell Toph without spelling pedigree. That doesn't make any sense. I'm doing good. How you doing?
Good. I just so you guys know, I hit Toph up earlier today because I saw this whole thing unfold, and I actually thought it's mad interesting, and I wanted to sort of talk with you about it for a little bit of context. So, like, what's the whole deal with, like, Mango and SFAT? Because I feel like I haven't been as aware of it. This is the first that I saw of this. I knew that, like, SFAT beat Mango, and it was a big deal, but I don't know, like, all the stuff.
I mean, I don't think they have beef like it's funny, right? I think there's an additional layer here, which is like NorCal and SoCal, like culturally, I'd say a lot of like the top NorCal players, we're all sweethearts and we're very like, positive vibes and like, we're like chill. And,
Sure.
And in SoCal, I would say a lot of the top players, they rib on each other a lot.
It feels like a East Coast, West Coast difference. West Coast, in my experience, like as a whole, you guys were always like a lot more chill and laid back, and like, because East Coast is mean a lot of the time, like Tri-State, at least in my games, like brawl to ultimate, Dude,
I heard a really good quote from somebody somewhere, which was that the West Coast they're nice, but they're not as kind.
Yep.
And the East Coast is kind, but not as nice.
Yep.
Yeah. And Mango doesn't necessarily mean anything by it. He's not coming at you from a personality basis, but And to be clear, Mango's done this sort of thing a lot. He's still red button. You remember, Mango's on his big winning streak. He hadn't lost a tournament set in a year and a half, 2 years, and Kage beat him. And then he kept living on Kage because he was saying, Kage, how are you gonna beat me? How are you gonna finally end the Mango streak and then immediately get, lose to the next couple players you played, which happened to be PP and Hungry Box, but.
So
still.
he gets a really big chip on his shoulder if he loses, bro. That's all I'm hearing. Is like when he loses, he gets like mad at that guy for not winning the whole tournament. If you beat Mango, you have to win.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I would say that's the case.
I'm a little curious as to like, because the most interesting thing for me in all this is I feel like we've reached another one of those crossroads where it's like, okay, the esports part has got to run up against the underground part at some point. And this is always the most interesting part of any of this kind of like fighting game stuff is like, obviously at its core, there's no problem with a little bit of shit talk, a little banter, so whatever, back and forth. But
yeah, once
you factor in audiences and fans and Mango's like 267K followers or whatever, who are going to be weird about it. They're going to be weird about it, right? So does he have like
point,
a level
yeah.
of, should he tone it down? Does he have to be a little bit more responsible about it? That's always the question, right?
Yeah, that is always, that's what I was gonna say. That's always the question, because it's like, because on one hand, you know, people always say like, God, I wish there was more beef. Not in the sense of like, obviously people saying messed up things to each other, taking it personal, but I wish there was more, you know, especially for more old school people. We kind of, you know, we used to have more of that, but even for newer school people, you're kind of like, you know, you want drama, you want some stakes, you know.
Sure.
And there's always as a you know, I think as a player, as a competitor, you're always kind of. And as a content creator, as a streamer, which Mango is, you know, you're always kind of walking this line of like, okay, like what, you know, do I have time today?
Sure.
You know, am I gonna? Yeah. You're right. The answer is, that is the question. The question is there a line? I would say there is, but it's not always that clear.
I saw you made this tweet. The same people calling Mango toxic are going to be the first ones to miss him when he's gone. That's. I feel like you have like something in mind for that, right? Like you had like. There's someone you're thinking of here, right?
No one in particular. No one in particular. No, I didn't mean that as a slight to SFAT or anything like that.
Okay.
No. But I meant that more. Actually, I meant that more for. Okay, listen. I see a lot of people on Twitter that say those. Okay, you remember? God, I thought it was so funny remember when Punk last week or the other week he took that video.
We were just talking about it. The steakhouse.
Just talking about that.
Yeah. We were literally just talking about that. Yeah.
It's so funny, right?
Very good.
And people are like, God, this is exactly what the FGC needs. You know, this is tight. People clearly like that stuff, right? People want that sort of beef to exist. It almost feels like they're simultaneously like, man, this is messed up. Didn't you know that you crossed the line with this one? Like clearly SFAT
right,
was his feelings were, but you know, often it feels like it's the same people that are saying, oh, but this is great. You know, this beef is exactly what the scene needs. You know, you know, they eat that. You know, they eat it up, right? They you know, they're the first people to click on the videos and stuff like that. The way I saw it was I saw someone calling Mango toxic on my timeline. I was like, oh my God.
Right, yeah.
And then I watched the clip and I was like, well, okay,
it's not that bad.
Hey, he made fun of him for doing bad at a tournament.
Well, for beating him and then losing. That's always what it is. And he even says that he's shitty in the tweet, like when he's talking.
He says, I'm a jabroni and this stuff. I'm like, it's not that bad. I don't know. Well, that's the way I saw it. Now, clearly, if Zach's feelings were hurt, then that's valid, right?
Sure,
You're always entitled to that. But I would say this is almost a toned down version of a lot of
that's kind of what he does. Like this is
kind of what he does.
This is kind of what and you kind of have to expect a bit of it, and if you don't like it, it's fine. But like I don't know, I was talking before you came on. I think it's more important for people to be their authentic selves than it is for this air of this affectation of like what is professional. But I don't know, when you factor in the audiences and the fans and the social media, it gets a little weird. So I could see it both ways. I think it's a very interesting convo to have, and it's one to continue having as like stuff continues to get bigger, you know?
Agreed. Yeah, it's tough. I know when you have a reasonable following, you know, there's kind of a line you have to walk. And I don't mean that in the like cancel culture way. I don't mean that. I mean it in the sense of like there's a line you have to walk in terms of being authentic versus knowing your audience, knowing you have an audience that are impressionable, and they'll, you know, doing the best you can to kind of curtail them, or whatever the word. Maybe that's not the word I want to use, but
no, it makes
doing
sense.
Your best to to make sure they don't go out of line and, you know, harass people for you. And
sure,
there's a lot of, with great power comes great responsibility. Where's Uncle Ben? You know?
Yeah, Uncle Ben, he did say that, and then he died. He should have been a little bit more careful. Yeah, responsibility to take care of Peter, and he died. So, all right, I don't want to take up any more of your time. Thank you so much for hopping on. I think this is a mad interesting topic, bro. Seriously, I think shit talking gaming is one of the most interesting things, because like at its core, it's so stupid, right? It's not like these guys are fighting. It's not like anything's actually happening. It's just two animals fighting in a video game. I don't know. There's something special and magical about it, because it does tie back to the whole, I don't know, fighting in the basement deal that we sort of lost, you know?
Absolutely. I'm going to leave you with one final thought, which is that I feel like it changes a lot, and I feel like there's some subtext. I don't really know what to make of it, but I feel like there's some subtext around the fact that our community is pretty old. Like, we've been around for a long time.
Oh, dude, absolutely. Yeah.
Because with like the Punk thing, Punk had been playing Dragon Ball FighterZ for like 2 weeks, you know what I mean? And it was like, this is like a pretty new, a fresh rivalry. But like Mango and Zach have been playing in tournaments against each other for like 15 years.
Yeah.
I don't know how it makes it different, but it feels different for that reason. It almost feels like you have to be, you know, if you're gonna start beef with somebody, you're gonna see them around for a long time. You're gonna know these guys. For a
they're
long
not
time,
leaving.
as we already have.
So any
Anyway, there's
bridges
something
that
there,
you
but-
burn, you have to remember that you did it. You know?
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna have to get a boat and ford that river because you burned the bridge. I'm trying to go on with the analogy.
It's a good analogy. It's a good analogy. I'll give it up.
You better have a boat.
Yeah. But these things do change too, though, because like the mango and the H-box thing, they were like bitter enemies for a while, and now they're like mostly, you know, they're not like.
Now they're they kind of like each other.
They're not boys, you know, they're not hanging out all the time, but they're
Right.
still like cool, you know. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting, but all right, thank you
It
for
is. It
thank you
super
for
is.
hopping on with me, brother. I appreciate it.
Hey, have a great rest of your day, Coney. Peace out, everybody.
Take care. Say bye, Toph. Everybody say bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Dude, all I'm gonna say, you would never see anything like this in Ultimate. Everybody's so scared. Nobody wants to rock the boat. Nobody wants to be mean. I think it's good. I think it's important to let people be this way. But I always do think back to that Billy Gunn promo that killed his career. And I'm like, oh God, this poor guy. East Coast is definitely better at shit talk, though. I will say that. Name one good shit talker on the West Coast. I don't think you can. Mango is. Oh, that's true. Never mind. I was literally wrong based on that clip. The one clip that I showed.